Assalamualaikum. My dear students, I am Mohammad Abdullah Murad Chaudhary, Senior Lecturer, Department of Agriculture Studies, Milestone College, Uttar Dhaka. Let's start today's video lecture.
Chapter 5, Section 2. This section name is Pulse Crops, and this is the first lecture of this section. Uh, Today's video lecture, you are able to understand the concepts of pulse crops and the characteristics of pulse crops, then cultivation method of lentil. Let's start the discussion of this lecture. Uh, Pulse crop is the main source of protein, that means the vegetable protein. That means we can get the vegetable protein from pulse crops. And in our country, almost 7.3 lakh hectare land cultivated in pulse crops, different types of pulse crops. And it is mainly 5.3 of total land in our country. And all are included in Leguminosae family. Fruits of this crop is pod. That means I will show you later picture what is pod. And normally we cultivate lentil, mung bean, black gram, cashew, pig, which is we known as a pulse crops in our country. But all of this, lentil is the most popular in our country and as well as in important pulse crops. What will be the characteristics of pulse crops? Basically, it's a legume type crops because this crops is a leguminous family, and it fruits type is pod. Then it produce nodule in the root system and fix rhizobium named bacteria, and this bacteria can fix nitrogen from the atmosphere. Uh, then that will fix in the plant's root system, and 20 to 30% protein we get from this crop, and this is annual crops and herb type of plant. This flower color is white, and this is bisexual and self-pollinated, and crop can tolerate little bit drought condition as well, and very sensitive in nature, and it can be cultivated in the zero tillage method. That means where there will be no tillage, you can dig the pit and we can cultivate it, this type of pulse crops, and it can be cultivated in low fertile soil as well. And sometimes if we do not care properly, that time these pulse crops can be cultivated as well, and this pulse crop cultivated and we can use as a fodder crops as well. So here you see lots of MCQ you can get from this chapter and section as well. You find out some red marks in there, which is very important for this sections MCQ. And now the cultivation method of pulse crops. Before that, we have to understand the identification. That means the Bengali name of these crops is Mosur dal. We know very well. The English name is lentil. Scientific name is Lens culinaris. And the protein we can get from this plant is about 25 gram each. So you have to memorize this part, like scientific name, English name and Bengali name. It will maybe come in the exam as well. Here you can observe some picture which is you identify the lentil plant. This is the lentil field, and this the plant is looks like I told you before. This is a herb type. So this is a herb, little bit bushy as well. And this is the main field. This is the line staying method of plant, and this is the individual plant. And this is the flower of lentil plant, which is whitish in color, very small in size. And this is the fruit of the lentil or Mosur dal plant, and this is called pod. Inside this pod, about 2-3 fruit present, that is called pod. So you memorize this one. What is the fruit name of lentil is called? This is one kind of MCQ questions. You can write it down, pod. So this is the field, plant, flower and pod. And this is the lentil fruits or lentil looks like. And you see the blackish color, this is with husk, and this one as well, after threshing properly, threshing and cleaning all debris with husk as well, and this is the without husk, which you can get in the market after marketing. So this is the all about the lentil. Now discuss about some important things which you know about the cultivation method of lentil. First, you have to understand what is the climatic condition of lentil. It's basically a winter crops, and 5 to 10, 20 degrees Celsius temperature needed for seed germination, and average temperature is 16 to 28 degrees Celsius, and annual average rainfall is 750 millimeter, and the relative humidity will be 75 to 85%. And remember that lentil cultivation needs sufficient sunlight. It can tolerate the drought, but remember that it cannot be tolerate rainfall and water stagnant condition. If there is lots of water present in the field, that time this plant will be rotten. That means root zone will be rotten. So remember that it can tolerate drought, but do not tolerate rainfall and water stagnant condition. Next point is, what is the soil requirement? Soil requirement is almost all types of suitable for this crop, but sandy loam soil is best, and sufficient sunlight, air and fertile land is suitable for this crop, and the soil pH is 5.5 to 6.5. That means the soil is acidic in nature. Next point is the variety. There will be some variety, about 13 variety, high yielding variety is important. One is Bari Lentil 1. That means Bangladesh Agriculture Rice Research Institute invented this variety, which is called Bari Lentil 1 up to Bari Lentil 7, and Bangladesh Institute of Nuclear Atomic Energy, they produce some variety which is called Bina Lentil 1, Bina Lentil 2 up to Bina Lentil 6. So you have to memorize this as well for your MCQ and CQ exam. We can sowing the seed if in October, but if possible first week of November and third week of November as well. And land preparation, you have to plowing, that means tillage the land properly, and laddering, that means playing the land, and about 2 to 3 times. Make sure there will be no clots present on the land. That means loosen or friable the all soil in the land, and make sure clean the all weeds from the land. Weeds is very harmful for the land, because weeds is itself as a plant which they need the all type of nutrient from the soil. Seed rate about 30 to 35 kg per hectare seed rate is required if sowing in the line method. Line to line distance is 30 centimeter and seed to seed distance is 10 centimeter. And if followed in broadcast method, that time you need 35 to 40 kg per hectare. For late sowing, that means if you sowing the seed after October, that means 1st November to the 3rd October, that time you need 45 kg to per hectare. And before seed sowing, we have to seed treat with some fungicide or chemical, which is Vitavex 200 or Covex 200 or Bitan 10 DS. You can get this type of medicine in the market, and 0.25% chemical should be mixed with seeds. That means 0.25% Vitavex 200 or Provex 200 will mix with the seeds for treat the seed before sowing the seed. Next is fertilizer application. I told you before, these plants produce nodule at the root zone, and this nodule on the root zone, one type of bacteria which is called rhizobium present in that nodule, and this rhizobium can fix nitrogen from the atmosphere. That is why this plant do not need it that much of nitrogen fertilizer. That is why we have to provide or apply urea, less amount of urea. which is urea 45 kg per hectare, TSP 85 kg per hectare, and MP 35 kg per hectare. Or urea 30 kg per hectare, DMP 85 kg per hectare, MP 35 kg per hectare. All fertilizers should be applied when you last plowing the land except urea. We have to always remember that urea should be applied in 3 installments after 15 to 20 days of seed germination. First installment, second is 30 to 40 days, and last one is 40 50 to 60 days. But when you apply biofertilizer, that time you definitely use molasses with the seed. And remember that if we apply biofertilizer, that time we don't need to apply urea fertilizer. This is the procedure of urea fertilizer. This one is important as well for MCQ and CQ. Next one is care. This is called interculture operation as well. We have to remove weed from the field or control the weeds from the field. Remember that about 60% production can be reduced with the weed, because I told you before, weed is a plant as well. So this one compete with the lentil plant because this weed it uptake nutrient from the soil in same condition. That is why we have to remove the weed. Weeds should be controlled after seed germination to 5 weeks age of the plant. Second weeding should be done after 20 to 30 days of germination. Make sure there will no weed present in the field. Irrigation and drainage. Told you before, it can tolerate drought but do not tolerate water stagnant condition. So make sure irrigation, less amount of irrigation is needed, and when water stagnant condition will happen anytime in the field, that time you immediately do the drainage system. Insect control. There is some harmful insect for lentil, which is aphid, fruit borer, thrips, weevil, stingbird, cutoff, etc. Can be attack in lentil field. Have a look some insect in the lentil field, which is the aphid, which is looks like this, reddish in color or brick red color. This is called aphid. This one is fruit borer. That means it looks very big, but this one is not that type of big, because this is a picture is larger than 10-20 times more. So it's very small, and this is the larval stage of fruit borer. This insect is very harmful for lentil. Next one is thrips. This is thrips looks like, and this one is weevil. This is called red weevil as well. Sometimes you can get this one when you preserve the seed of lentil in a container. That time you can may have a look this type of red color or reddish weevil inside the preservation can. Next one is disease. There are some disease which is very harmful for lentil cultivation. Here you can see foot rot disease. That means it causes by fungus. You can see the root zone of the plant is become raw due to the attack of this fungus. Next one is rust disease. This one as well infected by fungus, and have a look, the leaf of the plant is looks like rust. That is why it's called is rust disease. And even next one is wilting. This one happened due to the attack of fungus as well. You see this plant is standing very very quietly, and this one is stand properly, but in this row you see the plant is not standing like this one, and this one is fall down. That is why it's called wilting. That means this plant is infected by fungus, and this is the wilting disease. And end of the cultivation, after that you have to cutting the plant, drying the plant, and threshing. That means Lentil should be collected when 80% grain will get matured, and it is fully matured when seeds will drop down. That means when the plant's fruit or pod drop down underneath the soil, that time you are able to understand that the grain or the pod is, or the lentil plant fruits is matured. That time you have to cut down the plant. We should collect it when pot's color will be brown or blackish. When you show you the picture, that time the pot color was greenish. This is the initial stage, but at the end of the maturity stage, the color of the pots will be blackish or brownish. Then they use a stick or lathi of a threshing machine. We can collect the grains. After cutting that, we have to dry it properly and use the stick or threshing machine for collecting the lentil plant. And then yield might be depends on the field, weather condition, different issues, but average yield is 1.8 to 2 ton per hectare. So what will be the question you can get from this section? From MCQ section you can get like this: which one is the scientific name of lentil? There will be some option with this. Then you have to memorize this one: lens culinaris. Even the other things, variety name of some variety name of lentil plant, even the climate condition, soil condition, etc. And for CQ question, you can get the characteristics of pulse crops for 2 months, even the fertilizer doses as of the lentil cultivation, then interculture operation, all these type of things.
Thank you very much for watching today's video lecture. If you got any problem, let me know or contact your subject teacher. They must help you. Thank you very much.